Hello, everybody, and welcome back to You Can't Win. This is Tom here, joined by Donald as usual, and this is episode 23. And today we're going to be talking with our friend Steve, who is known as the Modern Wise Sage on Twitter. He has his own podcast, which has a long name that I can't call title right now. But yeah, how are you doing, Steve?
Hey, how's it going? I'm just doing the stupid thing and trying to feed my cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Episode 23, baby.
Yeah, what's the name of your podcast that you do?
I actually forget. I think it was like the Modern Wise Sage, and because I haven't done it in a while. I used to just do it, and then I would like delete. I didn't think anyone listened, so I would delete some.
Yeah.
Hold on, what the fuck app was that?
Anyway, it was pretty funny. Like, I
I
don't
went
know,
on
like,
some rants.
yeah, you always do the little video things on your Twitter, and I honestly think those are some of the funniest things on Twitter. Like, those always crack me up, and it was awesome that you were doing essentially that, except like long form on your podcast. So I thought we would plug it a little bit here, but if you're not even doing it anymore, then whatever.
Yeah, I forget what platform I was using, but I might have deleted it. I didn't even know that you listened to it. That's kind of cool. But yeah,
man.
'cause most of the time I would I would do like almost like half hour or up to an hour of just like talking to myself about, you know what I mean? Which is kind of I think it's weird. I don't know, like, you know, the big comedians who do podcasts. I think only like Chris D'Elia, and Theo Vaughn do theirs they'll do like just by themselves. It's just them. You know what I mean? I kind of like that idea.
Or like Bill Burr, I guess, yeah.
Bill Burr does it, yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, Bill Burr, he's fucking great. Dude, I was just listening to him yesterday before work, and it was like, you know, just like, you know, you're in the shower, and it's like, Bill Burr, ultimate fucking hilarious compilation,
Yeah.
number 4, and it was mostly like his advice section, but then there was this one, it was like a Joe Rogan's voice broke into it, and this guy's like, he goes, yeah, fucking, you know, we were doing this show in Philadelphia, and like the crowd was just, you know, it was like outside, and they were just fucking drunk assholes. So Burr's like, they're not gonna fucking do that to me, dude. He went out there and just trashed them for like, I think 15 minutes straight. But
yeah,
by the end, they were like, you know, they were like cheering him and shit. It was one of the funniest things. I didn't realize how funny he was until just recently.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah, that set is like legendary. Where he was like trashing the crowd, and like he's just kind of stalking back and forth on the stage and like counting down the minutes and just talking shit about Philadelphia. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's good. Yeah, see, I didn't have the visual. I felt like I needed the visual for that too.
The video is like really fuzzy and blurry, but it kind of does add a little bit that you get to see. Yeah, you mentioned Theo Vaughn. I think he's probably my favorite podcast. Like his this past weekend.
Yeah, like I remember at first his name would pop up under all the, you know, because I do listen to Joe Rogan. He's not my spiritual guidance or my healer or my dietitian or whatever. But I don't know, man. Like I listen to maybe 10 minutes of the Elon Musk podcast, and then I'm like down to like Joey Diaz or some other comedian. But yeah, Theo Vaughn kept like popping up, and I'm like, this is the fucking road rule. Like, who is this guy? You know, and I didn't get like why he was funny. And then I started listening to him, and he's just like, the shit that comes out of his head is fun. It's like, I don't know, it's a riot, dude.
Yeah, he's really cool. I'm kind of the same way with Rogan. Like, I didn't listen to the Musk episode. I don't like any of that kind of where it's supposed to be all like serious and smart stuff, you know, like I just don't think he does that so well. Sometimes he's okay, but I mean, it's really the funny guests, like his comedian friends that are really like worth listening to.
Like Duncan Trussell, his last episode was.
Yeah, dude, that was cool.
All right, nice. I had the volume down for some reason. Now I can hear it much better.
All right, good. Yeah, so you were saying something about episode 23. That's your number?
Oh, yeah, because, all right, so all it is my birthday is April 23rd.
Yeah.
But, dude, I'm not lying when I say, like, all right, so it's kind of a weird number because 4-2-3, you can see that in a football game. Obviously, you're going to see it on the clock. But I always, like, will randomly just look at the clock and it'll be 4:23. And it's not like a superstitious thing. It's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things. 23. I think it's the coolest number ever. There was a movie about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that with like a hotel room or something? Like
it was. What was it? Jim Carrey just like playing out his future self? I think.
Yeah.
Where he goes crazy over the number. Yeah, he starts basically thinking he's like seeing it. I don't even know. I think I watched it once and I just didn't take any of it in. It's like one of those.
Yeah. I saw that too, and it was the same thing. Just I can't recall almost anything about it. I remember that it used to be like I know someone else that had that 23 thing where they kind of sort of ruminated about it or whatever, just kind of obsessed. And I thought like, and then that movie came out and they were like, wow, that's that's like about me or something.
23 and me. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
I feel like that number has something to do with like numerology. Like it has some importance in that like goofy stuff, you know? Yeah.
I listened to this guy. His name is Steve I swear I want to say like Steve Gutenberg. But he was this math. I'm not going to get any of this right, but some of the cool like he was talking about how he like in a fourth grade he just started like he was like, all right, why do the numbers have their shapes? And he realized when you actually like really put them together, it's like, you know, the angle. A lot of people know that. It's like 2 would be more like a Z, so it's 2 angles in there, and then 3 you go on. And he kind of displayed that. I think that was like some Arabic shit or something. I forget when they. Yeah. And you guys probably know more. And then he was talking about how, and I get this because I'm good with math because I'm so like I have this like weird ticket like I don't know, my fucking brain works weird, but you know, like some people they can't do like 37 plus 7 real quick because they forget to count that 0, you know, like the 0. You know what I'm saying? So he was saying he started from 0, 1, 2. He would count in 9s instead of 10s, which is
okay. Yeah.
I can't explain why it's easier, but I think it kind of he was doing it on his finger. Obviously, he was talking to like, you know, fucking 4th graders or something. But it was cool to like be like, holy, this is like magic. You know, numbers are like fucking. They're not real, but they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You mentioned the Arabic thing. If you look at the Arabic numbers for 2 and 3, and you look at them like 90 degrees on their side, like rotate them, you'll see like hour 2 and 3. Like if you want to look that up or something, it kind of blows my mind when I first noticed that.
Yeah, I've been like recently getting a little into just how crazy like the translations from Arabic to like Arabic is like the original everything, you know.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah,
maybe that's religious.
I usually hear Muslims talking about that. So
yeah. Well, like Hotep or some shit.
Yeah. I mean, if you go back far enough, like the difference between like Hebrew and Arabic and stuff, like it kind of blurs together. Like it kind of comes from the same thing.
Yeah. I was thinking about languages even today because I saw this video where that guy was like, I think it was in Canada, just taunting a Muslim woman, and she was like, you know, because she was speaking different language. And I'm like, I heard Indian in the Uber car. Then I heard Spanish guys fucking ripping down trees next door. I'm like, who gives it? Like, how does that?
Yeah.
Like, who gives a fuck? You know, they're just living their life.
Yeah, that's like what I grew up around. Like before I moved to the States, like I grew up in different countries around the world, and so like I didn't move to the States until I was 18, and every place I lived in before that was not English speaking. You know, so that's what I was used to was like people just speaking languages I didn't understand around me all the time. So it was a real trip coming here. And then like, it kind of like freaked me out because it was like, there's the expectation that, you know, you're able to communicate with other people and, you know, you can like, you can understand what everyone's saying and they'll like, I don't know. It just like, so it was a little bit of like a culture shock type of thing.
Yeah. I actually still remember a lot of Spanish. Like I can read it pretty. If I see like Spanish in front of me, I can kind of make it out. Like not everything, but some. You know, some of the word. It's like you just. I don't know. At first, I thought you were going to say that every country you lived in was like only spoke that language and hated other languages. But
I mean that is kind of true. Every place is not like it's not just white countries or Western countries or whatever that have that kind of like, xenophobia or whatever.
yeah. Oh, I know what came up. You were talking about the ability to like communicate. You would think it's so easy, but dude, I watched this video on YouTube. It was like this tribe. I think it was in Australia. It was like this tribe sees white man for the first time, probably since like the colonial days and shit. Yeah. And the guy's sitting there, and they're like, he's sitting there with like, I think he has salt in his hand, and maybe eventually some fish. But these dudes are like, they got the spears drawn. They're coming across this crazy river with like, this little makeshift bridge across it. And he eventually they start touching them and shit, and like, jump in as if. And I'm starting to think like because I was like, maybe they don't really think they're ghosts. Is that just like a tagline or something, Yeah. But I think they really did. Like they were fucking. It took them like a good. I had to click. It was like part 1, part 2, and then I couldn't even find part 5 of 5, which makes no sense, YouTube. But the guy eventually like. At first, the woman were kind of like weird or whatever, and it would be weird having this one guy with a camera just shooting at you. But it was crazy just seeing them like touch all their little like the bowls and the cups, and then he gave them some rice and tried to show them how to use a spoon, but they just like said, fuck the spoon and started eating it with their fingers anyways.
That was in like the Amazon or something?
No, I think it was Australia because
Oh, Australia. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Australians had like native Australians, the black people. They have
Aboriginals, yeah.
Yes. They have like a distinct look to them, you know what I mean? They all kind of have a very distinct dude, I don't know, that just blows my mind how like there are other tribes in the Amazon that have like never been touched by human, whatever, fucking white man.
Yeah, I wonder about that when people make those claims. Like, how do you know?
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, no shit.
Like maybe they have and they just like didn't like what was going on. They're like, we're good. Yeah. I'll just hang out here.
Yeah. Or they just sort of wander into town in like a disguise, and then they, get back to their own community and just pretend that there's no contact or something.
Cheat from the trees.
Yeah. They have to like sneak into like a phone booth like Superman and like put the suit on, and then they walk out. They got like the glasses in the briefcase and stuff.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like those shows. I kind of like these. I think a lot of people are trying to like move into their own homestead in America. Have you noticed that, or is that? I don't know if that's always.
I've seen a little bit of that. Yeah.
Like obviously there are TV shows, and then people watch those. And they're like, yeah, we can do that. And then like this fucking one show where they go and they help fix it up. Like these people have no idea what they're doing. Like they're still going to town for water.
Yeah,
the guy hasn't hunted in like 3 years. One guy had an epileptic seizure disorder, and I'm like, what are you doing living out in the middle of fucking like Montana woods, the driest area?
There's just millions of people now apparently in the States just stockpiling stuff too, like just getting all of the. It's like half-assed kind of homesteading, just getting the shelf-stable food for just huge, for years
like and all that. Stuff.
Yeah.
Man, it's all those like prepper guys. That's
yeah.
They know, like they figured it out. I think
those guys,
not all of them, obviously, but
I think that came from 9/11, right?
I think it's always been a thing. I think a lot of it is like white separatists, like they want to just live with other white people or whatever, like that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, there was another documentary. Well, I'm like a documentary king, and it was called The Lost Soldiers or something. And I cried. It was about Vietnam soldiers, veterans who came back, and like society, they just, they just clearly had some issues and couldn't live in society, and like there was at least 5 or 6 of them. One of them like had a wife, but he would have to like go out on a boat and live in the woods by himself for 3 weeks out of the month. It was just.
Yeah,
it was like these guys. I think it was called some soldier. They were like just so it was sad. It was like 1985, maybe 84ish, 85, and they're still wearing the military gear. Shit. You could just tell like it screwed them up so bad.
Yeah, I had a roommate when I was in Seattle that had PTSD. He had been in Iraq, and if he like got woken up in the night by some noise, and it really wouldn't even take a whole lot to wake him up, he would just have like he would just be up and like vigilant, hyper vigilant, his heart rate going like crazy, just adrenaline for hours. Like he would just be on. And it was like one of those things where he kind of like warned us if that happens and he's up, don't surprise him. Like don't pop around a corner or something, because he will just kind of like reflexively, might punch you out or something.
Break your neck.
I mean, and he was kind of an odd guy just on his own. Like he went to Iraq because like he joined the military because he got involved in some kind of like investment scam thing. Like he had made a significant amount of money and then poured it all into some kind of thing that went south, and was just totally broke and hugely in debt. So he joined the military, and now
that was his answer.
What's that?
That was his answer to his problems.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it seems like a series of bad decisions. But you'd think like a guy who had been in war would be sort of different than he was, because he was very like woke and very sensitive about things like language and.
Oh, really? Yeah, dude. Cause over there, they don't get like, there's another YouTube series where an ex-soldier actually directs it. And it's just all like sexist, but that's what you're in a desert for however many fucking months to years, whatever. You're gonna like. That is kind of surprising that he came out of that. Like, don't say that like woke or whatever.
Yeah, he had even like the little colored, like the dyed streaks in his hair, like the whole thing, the whole like. Yeah. And he was studying to become like a social worker, and just fully embedded in that sort of stuff. I mean, which is whatever. If that's your thing, fine. I find it insanely annoying and dumb, but like if that's what you're into, that's fine. But what did annoy me about him though was that he had this girlfriend who. You remember when everyone was like all gluten free? I mean, I know that's still kind of a thing, but remember when that was like really a thing, like super. Popular.
I knew one girl from high school that was wicked hot, and I think we hooked up a few. But she was the first person ever to mention like I can't eat certain breads, and like because her refrigerator sucked. I remember opening it and being like, "What the fuck? Like this? You got nothing to eat?
Just nuts, just like different kinds of nuts."
Yeah. So yeah, she was, and then like after that, I think people were just like, "Yeah, I am too." Everyone wants to self-diagnose themselves. You know what I mean?
There's something like some people just want to have like, oh, I have to eat special bread. Oh, I have to wear like a special thing. You have to use special words to address me. Like everything has to be special,
Yeah. Have you ever heard the term snowplow parents?
No.
I think I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, there was maybe some articles about it. I forget where I heard it, but there was a story like this girl she wouldn't eat anything that looked like, felt like, fucking whatever, like a sauce that resembled any type of sauce or whatever, dressing, I don't even know. And her parents, like, catered to this her whole life. And then they sent her off to college, and, like, she didn't know how to eat. She didn't know what to do. So she fucking dropped out and then and went back home. And there was a few other stories, but that one, like, stuck out the most, where it's like...
Yeah, that's weird. I was talking to Tabs about this crazy. Oh, let me get back to the girlfriend. Anyway, she said she had this thing that she's got celiacs or whatever, and so can't have any bread or flour around. So like he wanted us, like the roommates, to like clean the kitchen. Like he would be like, "Hey, my girlfriend's coming over. Can you guys clean the kitchen in case there's any flour?" I'm like, no, dude. if she can't be in our kitchen because there's like a particle of flour floating around, like maybe you need to go to like somewhere else, some bubble land.
But I was just saying, bubble girl.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think that like 2 years later, just like everyone else who was into that stuff, it just miraculously like, oh, it's not such a big deal, anyways. But yeah, Tabs was telling me about this thing, and I guess they made a movie about it recently, but this was like a real story that there was this girl, oh damn it, what's it called? Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Yeah, that's kind of that's like a weird one to understand because sometimes they apply it to too many. Is that the one where like the person either repeatedly they enjoy like getting taken care of, or like they make up lies?
Sort of like that. It's where the person, the caretaker of someone, so either a parent or like someone who has like a medical condition or like mental issues or whatever, the caretaker, it seems to be about the attention that they receive or whatever. So they intentionally make someone sick. Either someone who is sick, they make them worse or keep them bad, or they make a healthy person sick. And that's what was going on with this case. There was this mom, she had a daughter, and they were living with a couple other people in the family. I forget the exact situation, but she was like sneaking like insect repellent into the food to make people sick, and doing all kinds of crazy stuff with the daughter. Like, oh man, I can't forget all the things she did.
Wait,
but
this isn't that lady who the girl. Obviously, I don't think it is. But did you ever the one like the girl eventually like killed her mother?
That's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
The girl, the daughter got in contact with, like, she kind of got into like some online communities or whatever.
Yeah,
so she was like found like a boyfriend kind of a thing online, and the boyfriend was like mentally kind of off or whatever. Like he had his own issues, but eventually they kind of figured out this plan, and the guy, I think, stabs up the mom, and they like run to a hotel like in the next town, and they think they got away with it. Turns out they got caught. Like
like that girl, that was like years of just being like, one day I'm just gonna, I don't care. They don't even, because I try to think about the people that do that shit. I watch a little too much Forensic Files sometimes. Yeah. And I'm like, I just don't get how you even. I can understand there's one murder like passion, like murder by passion or some shit. But as far as like that one, no, actually that one, when I heard about that case, I was like, okay, send the kid to prison, let the girl go, because it's like when you hear the story, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, well, I guess what ended up happening was they both went to prison. But, the town and the judge and everything like understood what was going on. And it's one of those things where you can't just like say like, oh, well, murder is okay sometimes. Like by the law, you can't really do that. So they pretty much treated it as leniently as possible. And the girl is apparently happy in prison. Like she wasn't even taught to read or sent to school or anything. So she's never going to have a normal life. So it might even be like a good thing for her, like if she's happy there and it kind of gives her some structure, and maybe she can like socialize with people, feel like an equal.
That's like I think it's a human condition that like free will is just something you can't really take, you know what I mean? Like, that's her free will. I remember when I was a kid one time I was playing with my little army doll toys, and I told my dad the story I was playing or whatever, and I go, the guy went to prison, but he ended up being happy there. And like that was the end of my little. I used to write and direct movies with action figures, like not film
I used to do that too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. I would set up literal movies. I even had my own wrestling federation for a while.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, I remember. I still think about it because I'm like, that kind of showed me something. Like even back then, I understood that like it's more of a mental prison that you put yourself into. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like my dad, he's like, why was the guy happy in jail? You don't want to go to jail. And I was like maybe 7, 8 years old. And I was just like, I don't know, it didn't go beyond that, but I just remember that sticking in my head. That the guy felt you could find freedom even in prison. Dude, when I was like, I recognized, I don't know when you guys had that like self-awareness moment, but I don't think some people ever do until they're like 55. And it's called a midlife crisis.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people just never do.
Yeah, they never change, whatever. But when I was like 8 one time, and I remember sitting on the toilet and looking at, and I just had this like thing in my head that clicked. Where I was like, oh, like I'm a person, like I am a human being. Like it was this weird like self-awareness moment that it almost felt like a dream. So then I was trying to like recapture it, but I couldn't. Just sitting on the toilet.
I think I know what you mean. Like you kind of feel that way when you take like mushrooms or whatever, stuff like that. You know, it kind of really brings that out.
Yeah, I mean, it grew obviously more when I was like I was kind of like normal happy up until 13, 14 when we started drinking and smoking weed. And dude, that's why like I don't even, everyone wants to be like weed, yeah, woohoo. But I don't think teenagers should smoke it. And I don't think everyone should. It's not for everyone, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think in a weird way, I've seen more backlash, like more kind of this like moderation sort of attitude around it now that it's becoming more decriminalized. Like it's almost like when it was just totally outlawed that it seems so ridiculous that you almost have to like push back against it. So you have like even if you're not really into it, you're still going to have like a generally positive feeling about it because it's like, well, it's not harming anyone, blah, blah, blah. But now that it's like becoming more normalized, people are more willing to be like, I don't know if this is such a good thing to just be totally like okay with all the time,
Exactly. That's like when I was before I started working at Lowe's, I went to Quincy College for 2 years because I was like, dude, I had just got in a car accident in 2013, and then I think at the beginning of 2014, I started going to this little Quincy College, John Quincy Adams' hometown or whatever city, and I was smoking like maybe what was it like almost half an ounce a week. I think so. I would get like 7 grams out to 10 grams at a time. And now I can't. I think what happened one time. So like 2 months into working at Lowe's, I think I might have. I don't think I used to sometimes smoke before work because I could handle it. Like obviously, you have to build up a tolerance.
Yeah.
But I think I might have smoked a little bit this day because I was like doing I always do night shifts. I chugged an energy drink. I went in, and I've kind of I think I figured it out now what happened, but I remember I just felt kind of off, real shaky, and it might have been the energy drink, and I chugged it in like 10 minutes. And I had a cart, and I just remember this kid was like, "Hey, Steve, does this light bulb match this one?" And I looked at it, and my vision just was like, it went away. I was like, no, I don't know. And I was like, I got to get to the back of the store. So I was like walking with the carriage. I was fine. I was alert. Then when I got to the electrical, like the lighting display aisles, I fainted. And I had no idea I fainted until I remember I got up and I was sitting in a chair and I could feel every pore or every little drip of sweat coming out of my pores. And this guy had his hand on my shoulder. This guy, Henry, he was the man. He taught me every little nook and cranny of that place. But I was like, what do you guys, like, what's going on? I'm fine. Like, I was trying to, I thought they thought something was wrong with me, or I think I was high. I thought that they thought I was high. So, and then I looked, they were like, Steve, you fainted, they thought I had a seizure. But I think my legs, because I remember my inner thighs were kind of sore. So I think my legs just started trembling and I just went out. But then, I watched that show Naked and Afraid. And by the 3rd or 4th day, sometimes the people just grab onto a branch and just fall forward, smash their face because they're either dehydrated or they haven't eaten. So it was probably a combination of that plus the energy drink, and because it's never I don't have a seizure disorder,
Yeah, I used to have that. That happened to me a few times, around college, around those years, and it seemed to be related to smoking weed and or cigarettes and stuff.
Cigarette.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone mentioned one time something that kind of makes sense to me is maybe it's blood pressure, a drop in blood pressure.
Yep, I can see that. I was trying to look it up and be like, is it related to this and that? But yeah, I was thinking maybe, because your blood does. I mean, if your heart starts beating out of control, you can't. Or I don't know. Some people can't get it back down, But I just weird. It was maybe lack of sleep. It just seemed like a combination of things. But I wanted to be, I think I took the next day off. Then I want to be like, hey, guys, if that ever happens again, can you just let me go sit in the back room for a little while and then I'll be fine? Because it wasn't that, I did feel, I remember I felt a little shaky afterwards. And I think I was just like, damn, what the hell? Like, 'cause all of a sudden you realize like you have no control, you know?
Yeah.
And it kind of freaked me out. So I started just smoking weed at night. And now that's really all I do. I mean, I usually get like 10 pack of 20 milligram chocolates. So pop one of those bad boys, smoke a joint, and I'm good. I actually, that's probably why half the time, or the last time we didn't record, because I just get so high. I turn my phone on silent and I just like zone into some movie or whatever, some show.
I kind of assumed that's what happened. You were like, yeah, I'm just going to the dispensary and I'll be right back and then we can record, and then didn't hear from you. So I kind of put two and two together.
Yeah, I don't want to let you down today, but last time that's probably what happened.
It's all good. We got an episode done anyways. It's all good.
Yeah, what are we, like a half hour in or so?
Yeah, we're like half an hour in or so. Yeah.
Bobby Lee always on his podcast. He's always like, he'll just like the dude. The thing will be going great. He'll be asking questions. He's just like, so how long have we been recording? They'll be like, we're at 50 minutes. I'll be like, oh, great. It's almost like he doesn't. I think he tries to keep it short, but he also kind of like, I don't know if he gets bored or whatever. But I'm like, fuck, did you get a podcast? Just keep talking, dude. Like, do it. That's what I like about Joe Rogan. I mean, he goes to 2.5 hours sometimes. I can't like those ones. I'll like watch. Like I do. I like Ari Shaffir.
I like him too.
He's a great guest. And then obviously Duncan Trussell, Joey Diaz. Joey Diaz is one of the fucking just naturally. I call like so. Let me tell you about my neighbor. I might have to speak a little softer. I sometimes feel like I can sometimes hear him just like rummaging against the wall, even though all right, when I got home, I was in Maine. I got my one little summer vacation in, and when I got home that night, he must have like heard me, because I got in, put my bags down, and I was like, all right, I gotta fucking get my cat some food and treats and shit. And then I took out my trash, and and she had wandered out, because sometimes I let her walk into the hallway. And on the way out, he's just like standing there in front of his door, kind of swaying back and forth. And he's a very like soft-spoken, nice guy. He's a nurse, a male nurse, and so he was just, I've met him. I think I met him like when I was moving in. I just said, "Hey, how's it going?" So, it seemed like a nice, quiet guy. But then he's like, I could smell the booze reeking off, and my cat went into his condo. So he's like, and he's like, "You want to have a drink?" And I go, "Nah, I don't. Like, no, I'm good." And he goes, "No, I have beer." And I was like, "I don't drink." Sometimes I'll say that, even though like I do. Like I think I went out last Friday. That was when I was supposed to record with you. I went out drinking instead, and that was the first time. Dude, I swear, like since maybe last 3rd of July. But for me, it's not. I've realized that when you tell yourself like you can't do this thing, or like you learn about. I've obviously had my past issues, the opiates and all that shit, but. Now, that one was kind of different. But yeah, you kind of have to tell yourself, you know what? If it happens, it happens. Don't if you eat yourself up over it, or you create this world where if anything happens, then shame and guilt, then you're going to just keep doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And with alcohol, it's different, because I only drank like socially weekends. But I realized, when you get a DUI, they make you take these classes, and they try to tell you any which way that you're an alcoholic. You know what I mean? Like just the fact that you got in your car drunk is like, yep, you're an alcoholic. And it took me a while to break that down, but dude, the classes kind of worked. And then also going to school, I think it was the weed mostly over anything. I kind of started by like just smoking it with I somehow met this lady up in Queens. I would just meet like the homeless crew, everyone that hung up and lived around. So I would smoke with her like maybe once a week, and then she'd like sell me a little bit for $20. And I had to like build up a tolerance, but I think the weed overall just, I don't know. I just stopped caring about going out on the weekend. And plus, now I work weekends, you know what I mean? So, I also feel like you get to a certain point in your life where it's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm 33. Should I really still be going to the bar every weekend, doing the same thing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know, because that used to be like the thing. Like, I literally grew up with like all my friends. That was all we did. Kind of like, I guess, meathead type shit, but funny. And I don't know, just thinking about doing it now is like, damn, that's kind of, I think a lot of my friends have kind of just, it was weird, dude. Like I lost two we all just lost like in 2009, one of my friends overdosed, and that, like, he was like my connection from like the school I went to. We had 3 schools in our hometown, and they kind of like North School and Center School was where like some of the poorer kids went. Some of the kids were like, they had better, like, I don't know. I went to both schools because I moved, and I thought the Center School was great. Like, they catered to your emotions and shit. Whereas the other one was like, you're fine. Like, they told us, they thought we started sagging our pants when we were like 10. And they brought us into the principal's office and like had the dare officer. This guy was like 7'4", lanky, just like the dare officer, you know. And he's like, you know, prison men are the ones who sag their pants because they can't afford belts. And now that I think about it, he just kind of went on like this racist rant about us wearing our pants. So then, like a year later, we shaved our heads. I remember, and they thought we were in a skinhead gang. It was like we're 11. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
But one of the I grew up like I always did good in school, but I just thought the kids with ADD or the kids that like control themselves just always cracked me up. Not so sometimes like we would make up some funny shit, but sometimes I would laugh. Like, you know, fucking Brendan on, if he hears this, I don't give a shit. Brendan Diarrhea on Twitter.
Yeah.
Sometimes I laugh at him, like, just because he's doing the thing and he almost can't help himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, that kind of amuses me more than the thing itself, if that makes sense. Like,
I think I get you, yeah.
Just the fact that, like, this person's like, because there was these other kids that were, like, preppy kids, and this one kid, I mean, he looked like a woman, he kind of, but he had the worst case of ADHD. He could never sit still. And like I remember being friends with him, so I had to eventually make like not new friends, but I kind of had to stop hanging out with the old ones by like age 16 or 17, and kind of made new friends. But the friend that died in 2009 was always like my connection between those two like worlds, I guess. So like losing him was kind of a big one, and then I lost another friend in Afghanistan in 2013. And I had kind of already like moved. I had moved, about 35 minutes away from my hometown, and kind of just stopped doing the bullshit, which was good for me. But that was like crazy. I think he was on his 3rd tour, and I thought maybe like on each tour, maybe they send you deeper and deeper in or something. But people are like, no, it just happens.
Yeah, it's not like a video game. Every time you die, you go deeper into the dungeon or whatever. You were telling us about your cat and your neighbor or something?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about my neighbor. Sorry. So he's standing there. I go in his apartment, and I thought I saw a bag of weed on the table, so I brought it up. Yeah, I got my medical. So then he came over to my place to check, just see my grow tent, even though I didn't have any weed growing. I still do. It's just sitting there. But, we got to talking, and I was showing him my weed, and he kept being like, he was like, oh, yeah, this one smells. I don't really like, and it was like, so when I get an eighth from the dispensary, I'm not going to trail off, but I'll like break it down into little smaller bottles for the grams and kind of, I'll have like 4 different strains and just pick from each bottle. But he was like looking at the main bottle. I don't like this dude touching my weed, but because I couldn't see him, he went over to my light, and I'm like, well, I could obviously see if he puts his hands in his pocket, but he also had a shirt pocket, and I swear I saw him fucking put one in there. So I let it go. That was, with me, you have like 3 strikes as far as like friends go, whatever, people. So that was kind of like strike 1, but I wasn't sure. And I was trying to look at his breast pocket and see if there was a nipple nug there, And so that was like, whatever. I was just like, all right, man, I'm going to, I just got home. Like, he kind of overstayed his welcome a bit. And I don't like being around drunk people anymore. It's just not my thing. That's why I think I have to be drunk to handle that,
Yeah.
So I saw him again another night when I was getting home from work. I think it was a Sunday. Yeah. Cause I got out at 9 instead of, it wasn't like 11. And he was like, I think it was his dad was over there. Oh, so when I went in the first time though, it was like, yeah, I was just crying. I had my priest over, joined a Brazilian church. I'm like, okay. And he was kind of like giving me it's a little weird type of vibe, And then he said he was like crying, but he didn't really say about what. And I saw that his daughter had just left. He has like a 7-year-old daughter. Because I have a 7-year-old niece, and I brought that. I was like, yeah, she just came up to Maine with us. It's kind of cool, like. He's like, yeah, my daughter's 7. So maybe it was about that. I don't know, but I could tell he needed like some company, some he needed someone to like kick him up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. But then the next time I was like, yeah, bro. He was, he's like, oh, I might have some seeds. So he kind of brought that up as like an excuse to talk to me the next time. Yeah, hey, I'm still looking for those seeds, man. We have to smoke sometime. I go, yeah. Well, I'm off Thursday, so maybe knock Thursday. I was just saying it, just to say, see you later. And 12:30 a.m. I took an edible when I got in. I rolled a big blunt, which I usually don't do. So from like 9:30 to 12:30, that's when the edible 3 hours in. And all of a sudden I hear this knock on my door. And I let it go. I let 2 knocks go just to see if it'll go, like, leave. Fucking 5 minutes later, I hear this little tapping. Motherfucker, what do you want? So I get up and I'm just like, what's up, man? And he's standing there with a lighter in his hand, like, kind of like with his head back. And he's like, hey, dude, did you want to smoke? I was like, oh, not really, man. It's, I'm like, it's kind of late. And I joked about that, and my cat started out. I'm like, I almost said yes because I'm just too nice sometimes. I don't know how to say no sometimes. But I was just so high. I was like, dude, I'm going to bed, bro. See you later. So finally, one night when I was feeling, I was like, yeah, let's fucking smoke tonight, dude. And he wasn't drunk, so we were on an even playing level. And I got him so high. And this is the source of me saying, when you Joey Diaz someone, and I'll explain that. He got so high, dude. First he gets up and he's like, can I get a glass of water? And I was just like talking his ear off, talking about whatever. And I kind of even said, like, I don't really like being around people, so that's why I didn't want to hang out. Then I'm looking at him because you can see through my living room into my little kitchen. And he just stares at the counter and he goes, I'll be right back. And he left and never came back. And it was the funniest thing.
That's like Owen Benjamin on Joey Diaz.
Yeah, I didn't see that episode, but I heard Joey laughing about it. But, Joey does that to Lee Syatt or whatever.
Yeah, that little pudding guy.
Yeah. So I was like, Joey. I've seen him once since, but he hasn't brought up weed, But, dude, I caught him that night, actually. He's checking out the weed again. So this was like strike 2 was knocking on my door at 12:30 a.m. Strike 3 was thinking that I'm stupid enough to not see the bud or the nug in your hand when you're I go, how many nugs are in that bottle right now? I knew there was 3 because I saw him dump it out, and it was like, I don't get those. What are you dumping my weed out in your hand for? Like,
yeah,
And so I swear I was like, how many nugs are in that bottle? He's like, 2. I go, where's the third one? He goes, oh, it's right here. Then he opens up another one and does it again. And I'm just like, all right, that's it. So I might, if he ever does ask, or I might have scared him out of here. But I'm going to tell him straight up, like, dude, listen, I think I'm all set with you. Like I saw you steal my shit. And I don't like, it's just, I don't know. To do that the first time you meet someone, that's just like shady.
Yeah, I mean, you are extending him a lot more charity than I would in that situation. Like anyone doing that the first time is just like, nope, you're not. We're not good anymore.
But with me, it's almost like I'll fucking get you. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like I got him back, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, that almost seems to me like there's some people that they really want to do something especially if it's related to like drugs or some kind of like addiction or compulsive behavior or whatever, that they like convince themselves like this plan that's going to work. And, maybe his plan was like, oh, I'll just sneak it into my hand and then I'll just walk out. And it's just like in his mind, like he just has to do it and it's going to work out. And there's there's no reality that exists where he gets caught and it's like something he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. And dude, this is going to make you be like, even weirder, I gave him some for the road and was like, here you go, dude. Just so I know, like, if he needed it, you could have asked, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Get the fuck away from me. And he left. So, I don't know. I did. I wanted to put that little bit of fear into him,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I don't know. Plus, dude, like, I was actually when I was thinking of some stuff, I failed at the dispensary. And then I was going to do something else, and that person wasn't around. But so I had a joint with me, and I sparked it on the way. I was going to walk to the bus station, and then the other day I was talking to you, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just take an Uber. And so I smoked a joint on the way down this little side road. You can, like, if you light up a cigarette or if you know the road, like I knew it enough where I could smoke. I kind of hide the joint with the cigarette, and it was done by the time I got finished the road. But I was gonna say, man, some of that dispensary stuff, like it would you get a little bit of taste at first, and usually I mix like a bunch of different kinds into. I don't know why I even buy different strains, but I mix it all into one. But it tastes like kind of like gasoline. It's like a
Really?
yeah, like there's certain points where you're like, damn, this shit, because it's like 20. I mean, 20% now seems so normal, but I'm pretty sure like I'll sometimes buy one that's maybe 14%, like a sativa. Which that I hate explaining to people too. Like this whole new like, I would hate to be at a dispensary being like, because I was thinking about maybe trying to like start growing or somehow make money that way. Not illegally.
Right.
But and then I'm like, man, like how much? I wonder how much the people that sit at the front like make per hour, and they have to sit there and like, well, a sativa makes you up, but it doesn't. It's fucking you get high. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess there are better strains that you could use at certain times of day, but most of the time it's just like whatever, you know what I mean?
All that sativa indica stuff, like it really depends on the specific strain. I think that's really like you can't just say it's not like there's easy shorthand for that, but it's a lot like wine. Like you read a wine label and it's like describing the fruity notes and the pine aroma or whatever. Like that's just all BS. Like they just make this stuff up because it's marketable, and then you smell it and you're like, oh yeah, I can smell what they're talking about. This is really nice wine. It's the same thing with the weed. They tell you like, oh, this makes you more creative, and then you're like, oh man, I drew a picture or whatever when I was high. Like yeah, it does make me more creative.
Yeah, you self like acknowledge it. And even when I went to Oregon and then up to Seattle, and because my mother travels as a nurse, and like I used to go on a lot more trips with her, but obviously nowadays it's like this was like maybe a year or two ago. So I had the time, and my sister lives in Washington, so I was like, I want to see her place, and I'm like, me and my sister are like a year and a half apart, so we were like always really close, and then we kind of like separated a bit in high school, and now I'm just glad to see, like, dude, she's got like, her name is Dani Goes Keto, Dani Goes Keto on Instagram, and I think she's got like 100,000 followers. I think Rihanna follows her.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember she was telling me that, and I'm like, that's cool, because it was the only thing I think by her, and I don't want to like project this on her, but I think by her like controlling the food or make even like a lot of people just don't know how to cook, and like that's that like it's so easy, like take some chicken breasts, throw them in some Italian dressing 5 hours, and then grill them. Like there's so many simple things that you can make. But so I think by her turning it into like a thing, she became accountable, because forever she was just it was taking her forever to lose this weight, and it's just good to see that from someone, because like I said, we when I say we drifted apart in high school, like we didn't talk. It was weird because I felt like judged because of marijuana use, and then I also felt too that like sometimes I there was this girl, she ended up being my girlfriend. And I thought that my sister was going to start like telling her all this embarrassing stuff. So I was just like, I can't even talk to her anymore, I can't do it. But now we get along great. I remember at her wedding, I kind of like brought it up and got her to tears and stuff. But she's happy out there. I wouldn't mind living out there, dude. It's so nice. Like I like gray skies. Like my skin is so white that I feel
yeah.
I would not. I get it. I wouldn't mind living in Ireland. Boston's Boston's good though, and I like the historical significance of it.
Yeah, sure. I really like Seattle. It's not as gray. I guess it is gray like a significant number of the time, but it like doesn't rain as much as people think. Like it's more just overcast, and then you get a lot of sunny days too. Like when it's nice out, it's just like the best place to be.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Now that you say it, I think in Oregon it was. Yeah, there was like one cloudy day. I did go out one night, and I was going to meet up with Tom on Twitter, but I think they just him and Gert. I don't know. I don't even want to get into that. But I went downtown, and like when I go out drinking, dude, like I don't give a shit. I'm just looking for whatever place has the most people. So I think what I went to was a gay bar, but there was girls.
Well, you are in the right place for that, yeah.
No, but even all right. So I went to Palm Springs in 2010, And, I think I just got sent out there to try to get away from some shit, but it made it worse when I got back. So, but when I was out there, I'd go to the little bars and kind of, you start to see the seedy side of certain cities. It's weird, dude. Like, there's a lot of meth out there, and that's just totally a different drug. Like, that shit's fucking it's just different. And but anyway, so I was out one night and I met these people from New Jersey, and it was like, oh, we had this East Coast vibe going on. So I hung up. Yeah, I'm gonna hang out with two hot chicks and one kind of like metro dude, and then like a goofy guy. So I was like, I'm just gonna hang out with them. I'm the coolest guy here, And so halfway to this other bar that they wanted to go to, this girl in the back, there was like one that had plastic surgery face. That was whatever. But I was like, if it happens. And then the other one was just like kind of like girl next door, hot, short skirt. But she was like, oh, I hope you don't mind. We're going to a gay bar, and I forget if it was bar, club, whatever. And I was just like, yeah, whatever, let's go. And then we go out there, and when I walked in, it definitely, if it's like an open one, like out there, I mean, there was a model dancing in his underwear. So I was just like, all right, guys, I'm going to go have a cigarette outside until I kind of feel the vibe out of this place. And I don't think I talked to them for the rest of the night, because when I went outside, I ended up meeting this cute girl that drove down from LA, and we hooked up that night. I'm not going to get into it, but so from that point on, I started thinking that happened every time. And I only went back once to that place, and it didn't happen. But it's a weird world in a way. It's like totally. I mean, if you've never had a gay friend or been around, it's just it's kind of entertaining in a way, especially if you're strong enough to I met this one guy. He never once crossed those, he never once got weird or anything. He showed me the city, and I would just go and eat food at his house. But now that I think back, there were a few times where he would just randomly start playing porn on his phone. So I think, dude, I let him cut my hair and dye the tips blonde. Dude, I'll tell you all this, but I just didn't care. It was not it was kind of it was entertaining, like I said. But I did tell him one night, and when we went out, I'm like, dude, you dressed me like I look like a gay guy, man. What are you doing? And he was like, no, you look fine. Oh, you look fine, my friend. And one of the days, I went with him to San Bernardino, which it was nice, dude, because you're on the highway. It's all, I mean, I hate the desert, but it was all nice desert landscape scenery. When we got down to San Bernardino, it was 115 in Palm Springs. You get down to San Bernardino, it's 74, just nice, cool. It's spring all the time. So we get to this guy's house. He's just all Spanish, and like I said, I know a little bit. So when I could I just said hi to him. I tried not to talk too much. And this guy what he was doing was buying all of a sudden we start unloading this minivan with 30 trash bags filled with either counterfeit or stolen off a truck, whatever it was, clothes. There was Gucci bags, Prada, and I wasn't really into that shit at the time, but I was like, well, I'll take a few T-shirts. And I heard the guy Julian it was he was buying them for $5 a piece, and I go, Julian, I know Spanish numbers, so you're not overcharging me. I think I spent $60 on 4 T-shirts and a pair of those True Religion jeans, which not comfortable, but it was they said $350.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, I don't know where the stuff came from. I think because I bought 2 Ed Hardy shirts, and I've since thrown them away, but one had a tag and one didn't, so I'm I think the one with the tag was definitely counterfeit, but the other one was real. But then this guy would bring them back to Palm Springs and sell them to his he had this wicked hot cousin, and that's kind of why I hung up a bit. But I think she was either seeing someone, whatever, but he would sell them to her for $20 a pop. He would I knew what he was making, you know what I mean? And it was damn, they're just buying fake shit. So everyone out there is just wearing fake, garbage.
Yeah.
Everyone you see.
Wow.
But
I've heard that's a thing. That's actually as a status symbol to have fake stuff instead of the real stuff for some reason.
Really? I can see.
I've heard of that in some places. I can't remember if it was the U.S. I think it was, and I don't remember exactly where. But it's harder to get that. So you're ordering it from like China or something. So it's like got this like cool,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't know who got it over and how they did it. And...
Yeah, so it makes you seem like you're like hooked into like some kind of like, you know, like, oh yeah, I know a guy, he got all this fake stuff, but look how real it looks kind of thing.
Yeah. So the only reason I brought that up was just to say, like, and like I said, someone might be listening to this and they're going to go, next time I walk by that gay bar and I see some girls hanging out, I'm going to enter. I'm going to hang out. Because when I went to when I was in Portland, Oregon, I got on the city bus and I kind of looked for an area that seemed, somewhat entertaining. I walked down a few alleyways, and when I'm drunk in another city, like, I'm an asshole. Like, when I was in Denver, I was walking home screaming and just being an idiot. But I wasn't screaming this time. But I was like, the first place I saw people at, I went into, and I did kind of get this vibe. But this guy was with this girl, and she kind of looked, it was weird. She like resembled my ex-girl, like my last serious one. And the gay guy helps you out because when they're with their gay friends are like, she's sitting on your lap. She's going to fuck you tonight, man. No girl's going to say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if a straight guy says it, that's like it's not helping you.
Yeah, then you're just a creep, you know.
Yeah.
That was like I think that was the last time I had sex. I've been kind of celibate, but I woke up the next day. Like I remember I was like kind of out of breath during it, and I was like, damn, I gotta get myself back in like shape for this, you know. And but the next day I remember just waking up with like garbage shit breath, and I'm not lying. I could not get this girl's, I'll just say her smell off me for like 2 straight days. And I think the day after was the day that we drove up to Washington. So all I could smell was like pussy on my face 2 days straight after this.
Like bad or just like wouldn't go away?
It was kind of bad, yeah. Because I've just gotten myself to this point where like she probably just got out of work and hadn't like showered. You know, I don't think she showered ready to go. But I don't know, man. I'm just kind of, I guess the more you have like weird relationships, the more you just don't give a shit about that type of stuff in the moment. But
yeah, I guess I don't know.
I never get anyone to agree with me and be, yeah, I get it. But like, because my ex-girlfriend was like, if she didn't have makeup on or wasn't like getting ready, her face could be kind of like ugly. I don't know, but she had big fake boobs and a big a naturally round ass. That, you know, like some guys, I always say that some guys will be like, "Oh, my girl's got a fat ass," and then you see her and they're just like fat. This girl wasn't.
She's got a fat ass.
Yeah. Like, oh,
yeah,
being serious. But she had it. Oh, and that's like once we got comfortable with each other, it got pretty crazy. But so yeah, you kind of just. But then you got to remember, like I remember with her, it was I kind of showed her a little bit of the aggressive side, so we both kind of knew. But like some people talking about this, that you have. I think I was just listening to Whitney Cummings talking to Joe Rogan, and she was talking about how she went from like one boyfriend that was kind of aggressive to another one that was totally like not at all, and she realized you have to kind of like tone it down in between relationships, you know. But that's why I can't. I haven't dated in a while because just for me, I just need to do my own thing right now. That's working out for me.
I honestly, that's kind of like what I always. I think that's the best way to go about it. Like you kind of do your thing, you find happiness just in whatever you're doing, and then that kind of is attractive to people, you know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
exactly. If you're out there like hunting, it's sort of, you know, it's like desperate, you know, like it's hard to not put out that kind of like desperate vibe. So, you know, just figure out something that you make room for somebody if they kind of come by and it fits, but you know, if not, like, no big deal.
Yeah, exactly. You know, one of my relations, like I met that girl when I was working in the union, the electricians union, and she was a bricklayer. But I started to realize she would like kind of be on a job. I felt bad for her actually, because like when she started getting like, you know, like opening up to me. It was like, oh, I hate being on the side of a building, you know, in the middle of December, like laying bricks, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, that seems like a pretty rough job. And like her dad was a union guy, an ex-biker. And she kind of had a rough like upbringing. And I think part of like me, especially in that moment, my friend died in January, but this is 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And I met her in like May of 2010. So I think a lot of those emotions that I wasn't resolving, like I kind of either put onto her or like put into the relationship.
Yeah.
So, and part of me too was like, oh, I can't break up with this one. I'm sick of having 2-month girlfriend. But I didn't realize. And it's sad to say she eventually, like, we went down a bad path. But like the first year was good. But the second one, you know, we both kind of started, I mean, my drug use. I always worked. I always had my own money for the most part. And, you know, I was just doing the oxys and the perks, like maybe 4 days a week. And then the rest of the week I would, you know, I'd go to work. And then it was like, almost like I knew I could have stopped, but I couldn't. Like basically you have to like, you know, when they say like, you know, oh, you got to hit rock bottom. Like some people need to be like dragged against rock bottom. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, even my own father sometimes like that, but it, I don't know. It was just, there was like, and like I said, I think the weed helped it, but there was this moment that everything just like changed, not in like a split second, but I just started realizing like, what am I, you know, like, you know, all of a sudden you're approaching 30, but I got off that shit when I was 20, I guess 27-ish. I just had a lot of like, you know, I had courts to deal with because of the car accident and the DUI, and that in a sense does straighten you up if you do it right. A lot of times, some people say, you know, oh, the probation system is just to get, you know, throw you in jail because the you can't apply the rules. And it's like, yeah, if you're a drug addict, you know, but if you're living the right way, you can make it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to turn it into an opportunity. Like you're presented with an option, and you got to take it.
Yeah,
right.
That's why. Well, yeah, I figured college would look good. Like, you know, you got to start thinking about your resume when you're, you know, everyone you talk to says you got to get back in the union. You got to get back in the electrical. And like, yeah, I maybe could, but like right now, that's just not for me. You know what I mean? Like, I work 1.5 miles away from my house, so
that's nice.
Yeah, and like the way I think about it is, hey, is this year better than last year? And I actually like I kind of enjoy living a boring life. But then again, like I've already done all this psycho shit. You know, like,
yeah.
I got all that out of my system. Now it's just, hey, I got to focus on me and the future. And like you say, yeah, I mean, I would be open to having a girlfriend, but they would have to accept. Although, you know, you got to change for some people. But like, I smoke weed. I work and then I smoke weed. I'm kind of just chilling. But you know, that's the good thing about relationships is the person always breaks you out of this shell that, or you know, like some people have like this fear that they hold to, whether it's like, I don't know, even me, like, you know, I don't want to work at Lowe's forever. It's a plan B because I know as a manager you could maybe make decent, like, okay money, but nothing like crazy. But the union is still kind of an option because they'll take guys. Some guys get in like way later on. Or I was thinking, like I said, I was thinking about maybe trying to get in that agriculture, going to like those cannabis courses that they have. But then I'm like, I feel like the people that go to those are such a mixed crowd that they're probably just going to teach me a bunch of shit that I already know from growing weed for 3 years.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, what is school anyways? Like, you know, what is anything? You just pay for a certificate to be like.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like it might be good just to have someone kind of vouch for your abilities, even if it's. I mean, if it's easy, then it's just easy, right? Like look at it as a positive.
Exactly. Growing weed outdoors, because so when I was living at my mother's condo, she had a balcony, and dude, my plants were 4 feet high, 4 feet wide, and there was one like I had a nice black widow, which is probably one of the easiest strains to grow. And it was one of my favorite for a while too, until I grew it, and then I was like, I don't like it anymore. But
are the different strains like substantially different, like in terms of growing?
Yeah, dude, they really are.
Huh.
Like I grew one, I tried one, like if it's an indica hybrid or like sometimes the indicas like the last one I grew was I think I've only done mostly hybrid, but the strong sativa ones you can tell because they kind of grow, they stretch a little bit longer. But yeah, like sometimes the little male, like they'll just randomly hermaphrodite, which is not really all right. So some people think that like there's some plants that when they grow, they're going to be male, and you just rip them out unless you're trying to produce. You know who's got a good weed page, and maybe I shouldn't say this because it's like is Chi Dog or whatever, Chill Dog on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
He grows some crazy bud. Like that's why I saw my sister's boyfriend or a future husband. He's a wicked solid dude. They like she's got her own house now, and he has pretty much the same tent set up as me. Like his plants are auto flowers, and I saw them right before he cut. And it like reinvigorated this. Like, oh, I got to do that. Like, there's a feeling you get weed, and it's kind of not spiritual, but I don't know. It's just this cool feeling, like especially when they're budding. It's one of the most, to me, it's like the most, like all of a sudden the condo lady had an issue with when I had 2 4-foot tall, 4-foot wide plants. They were basically like waving hands, you know. So she told me I had to cut them down, and I was in the middle of the moving anyway. I'm like, just give me 1 more month. And she's like, no, but I wanted to be like, look, if anyone has a problem with these, like, have them come over, and I will show them the beauty in this plant and how you can like you can like bend the lower branches. You can train them to like curve out and then down and then up. It's crazy. I mean, I used to post pictures of it like every day, so I'm sure you've seen them.
Yeah. They look really nice. Yeah.
But indoors is hard because you have to control the environment. I think once I saw my sister's boy plans, I'm like, all right, I probably just have to get some newer soil because I was like reusing the same soil pile, and I mix it with cocoa coir, like coconut coir. It's like the shredding, which allows for like better drainage, and then you get vermiculite. You can like mix it, and then there's blood meal and bone meal, and that's like when you really get into soil feeding and pH has to be right. So you definitely have to monitor that. But like when it's an outdoor grow, it's even if you have fruit flies, because you always get them no matter what. They just grow fucking awesome. But you have to time it right, you know, because once October comes, if you're not almost done by mid-October, like you're stretching it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds cool. You seem really excited about that stuff, man. I think that's something that you should pursue a little bit. Like, you know, you should do something like that you care about, that you have some energy that just kind of comes out naturally, you know, like that's going to really make something succeed. You'll find it easy to do, and you'll just be enthusiastic about it. So
yeah, I don't want it to be on those things that like, you know, like in 10 years I'm still sitting there going, yeah, I'm gonna grow some weed soon, you know what I mean? Like that's what I was trying to say about like when people I heard Duncan Trussell, if you ever listen to him, he breaks things down so like in such a weird funny way, but it's all about kind of that like fear that people have about doing things, it's a lot of it's just like everyday little shit fear, you know. But he was talking about how he was working at a place in the summer, some camp, and the guy that ran the place was like, yeah, we're gonna put up a rope fucking challenge thing, or like, you know, they do that like way up high and you're tied off and you cross the ropes. You ever seen those?
Like a zip line?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. That type of stuff. And Duncan, he said at first, he was like, I can't do that. I'm too scared of heights. And, you know, it freaked him out. And I think that would freak me out. But then by the time he got up there, he was just like, you know, I realized my fear was holding me back. I'm like, you get used to it and you're swaying in the trees. And just the way he explains things, I can listen to him for hours, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he seems really nice. Like, he just seems like a really nice person to be around. I guess he's a new father. Like he's got a little kid and stuff.
Oh, really?
That kind of makes me happy. You know, like I feel like he'd be a good dad.
Yeah, I remember not liking him when he was dating Natasha Leggero because she was my sweetie at the time. And then I kind of was like, you know, I think I saw him and her on it. That Tim and Eric, they did like a surf skit. Did you ever see that one?
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
If it was called something insane, I might look it up. But I saw him on that, and and then I started listening to him, obviously, on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, he's like, and like, you almost hate, I feel like some people just like, they like to hate Rogan because so many people enjoy the podcast. So they're like, oh, that's for fucking idiots, dude. Like, blah, blah. No, like, Joe Rogan, he knows about so much shit that it's weird. I like learning about that stuff. Even I talked to my mother's dating this guy, and she's been dating for like a year, maybe 2 years now. And he always he's I talk about so many different things, the subjects. He's like, Steve, he's such a positive guy. And this guy was in Vietnam. Like when you were talking about your friend earlier, waking up, my mother's told me that some nights he wakes up and he's like, but you wouldn't know it. So she gives him, he's been taking 10 milligrams of weed at night, and I guess it actually helps. He's
That's
sleeping
good.
through the night because she has a card too. It's hard. The place I go to is still strictly medical. So out here, it's weird. This guy, the Uber driver was saying Springfield, they're selling it out of gas stations. But Springfield, Mass is middle, I don't even know where it's West Coast type,
Mm.
Massachusetts is weird. I feel like there's the coastal Massachusetts, and there's just whatever else is out there is probably kind of Vermontish. Dude, when you said you were in Vermont, that's one of my favorite states, I think.
It was beautiful up there. It was really nice to go there. We went up there for a wedding, and then we kind of extended our stay for a few days to kind of climb up some mountains and stuff, enjoy the scenery. I had no preconception of what Vermont was like. So going there, I was actually not even really looking forward to it. I was like, I kind of don't want to do this and don't really have the money to do this anyways. It's kind of a bad idea. But then once we were there, I was like, oh, this is great. I kind of miss this, mountains and greenery and stuff. I'm in Chicago now, and it's not any of that. So
really, in the city, Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I've watched a bunch of shows about the South Side Chicago. It's totally segregated, isn't it? Not segregated, but
I mean, it's not legally segregated, but you can definitely tell what the ethnic makeup of the neighborhood you're in is just immediately. It's very obvious. Although where I'm at, I'm on the north side, the northwest side, and it's extremely diverse here, which is really nice. I really do like that. There's literally everybody. There's Latinos and Arabs and Africans and Southeast Asians, everybody. It's kind of cool.
I like that too. Yeah, that's what I liked about Quincy, which Quincy is cool because there's a bus that comes literally right down my street. It only runs 4 times a day, but brings you right up there. So that's kind of why I've been pushing back getting my license. I don't really need it. And dude, I realized how much more how many when you're driving, I don't know, I guess especially if you're I was a little bit of an asshole for a few years, but cops, it's you're almost giving up your right to be harassed by cops because they can just pull you over and fuck with you no matter what. Obviously when you're in the drug world, there's a expectation that they're going to be if you're kind of doing shady shit, they might be and sometimes you can talk your way out of it. But yeah, no, there's been times where I've just literally been walking down the street in a bad, this Brockton, it's an old shoe factory town / city, but that's where a lot of poor people live. And there's a lot of drugs, and my town was literally, there's Route 123. You just go right down that and you get into Brockton. So that's where a lot of the drugs came from. The oxys, not so much. Those are always wannabe white gangsta kids, But it is. It's a crazy world. I'm not gonna sit here and talk the time I smoked crack or something, but it's when you think back, you're and then that's why I guess sometimes I'm interested when I watch those. I like watching documentaries about, especially fentanyl now. I couldn't imagine being out there with that stuff, potentially, that girl I was talking about, ex-girl, she's dead. She passed away.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing because I saw her in the paint department at Lowe's because I can do every department. I'm the only guy in the store that can open and close every department except for millwork. No, flooring. I'm just kind of being cocky. I saw her in there, and at first, dude, I thought she was pregnant or something. She just had a big jacket on, and her hair was done up in a bun, and she smelled like cigarettes. And I'm not trying to talk ill of the dead, but it kind of, I was for a second, it brought me back to 2011. I was whoa, you're still, I almost wanted to be damn, you're still doing that, huh? You're still living the life. But it was weird because then, I wasn't awkward. I pulled up my phone. I was oh, check out my weed point. And she was I could tell, I don't know if she was trying to steal something or if she was actually redoing her room, but out of nowhere, we started walking towards the front of the paint. like towards the middle of the stores. And out of nowhere, she just starts like talking about court and as if I knew about it. And I'm like, what? So I kind of had to be like, okay, I'll see you later, because she was, it was getting weird. And then literally 2 weeks later, her mother came in and I helped her with some light bulbs. And I go, yeah, I just saw her in. What's her name? I just saw her 2 weeks ago, and she's like, yeah, we lost her. That's how she said it. Yeah, we lost her. I was just like, well, I didn't want to overreact. I'm definitely not one of those type of people that's like, oh my God, I'm considerate of how other people feel.
Yeah,
I hate those types. Like my mother's that type, and as much as I love her, I just had to accept it. But she's like, she'll call me, and I know I'm going to be like on her car speaker. It's so annoying, but yeah, it was weird. I was just kind of like, oh my God, and it did like kind of, I was like, I've had like 3 dreams about her since, which is kind of weird. Like I had, we broke up like 2012-ish, maybe. Yeah, 2012. But yeah, I don't know. I watched this documentary about this guy was just recording like all these separate individuals on fentanyl. And it's weird because they like, it almost seems like it's a totally different drug than like heroin or like opiates, because they're dancing and they're nodding out, but you do that. You nod out and you stand up. Like,
yeah.
You can literally be sleeping with your head twisted. Yeah.
I saw a guy right just today at the grocery store right outside was nodding out, and then we went inside, and then later on he got caught trying to walk out with something.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say like an ambulance was there, Narcaning, not giving him Narcan.
No, he seemed fine. Like
yeah.
5 minutes later, yeah.
One time I was riding my bike, and this is like the main street of my hometown, right near a golf course, and I stopped over to like fix the chain, and I had just gotten high, and I fell into a nod, literally standing up, bent over, like my head probably resting on my bike. And so all of a sudden, I kind of like come to with a noise of a door, and it's so crazy how these drugs affect you. I just stood right up, and I'm looking at a cop, and he's like, "Hey, you all right, buddy?" And I had sunglasses on. You immediately like you snap right back into, yeah. I'm just checking on my bike. Wow, what's going? Like you're immediately awake and alive and alert. It's crazy. And I just talked my way out of it. I lived literally right around the corner, so he wasn't going to give me any troubles. But it's crazy how you just you nod out while you're standing up. I don't really want to bring this up, but there was one time where I think, and this was actually maybe one of the last times I ever got high or anything. I must have nodded over like that, and I fell back on my kitchen floor. I don't think I fell back. Like I don't recall going to the floor. You know what I mean? But when I kind of came to, it was like a dream state, almost kind of like when you have, if you have ever had sleep paralysis. It was kind of like that, except I leaned like, all right, so I leaned up, and I remember turning around, like on, with my elbow on the ground. And this is going to sound weird, but it really happened. And I think it was just a combination of the drugs. But I saw like a woman with blonde hair and this white light around her. And it was very like, it was beautiful. I wasn't freaked out by it. I was just kind of like, oh. And then I woke up, and I don't think I woke up on like sitting up. So I think I think my body physically did turn. But I just think, I don't know if that was, like it was weird. I just kind of put
that is strange.
I put it in my head as, it was probably just the drugs or a sleep state that I imagined. Cause I was hanging out with a girl that had blonde curly hair before that. But like I didn't see her. It was
like someone you didn't know at all, like just.
Yeah, and now it's weird, dude, because I work with this lady that she's kind of like heavy set. Because this like woman that I saw, there wasn't really a body, but there was like colors of clothing. It was weird. It was like a pinkish white, and then almost like a motherly figure, But I work with a lady that kind of looks like that, so I've kind of put her face on this image that is barely in my head. But that freaked me out because, I never was like, there are some people that they just overdose like 20, the more like when you do it once, you're more like you are to do it again. People just aren't caring, they're just dumb. Dude, I've literally breathed for someone to bring them back to life. Like, it becomes normal in that world, you know? It's one of the freakiest.
That's messed up.
Yeah, the first time it happened, it freaked me out, and I called the ambulance. But the second with that girl, and the second time though, I just like, you know, she did some. We were in a car, and I saw her face kind of turning, her lips turning blue. So I started breathing for her. You don't have to pound on their chest. I don't know. CPR freaks me out, but I think if like more people just knew to do this, I had to do it for a dude once. I've done it 3 times. I breathed for someone, and they came. Well, this guy eventually hit him with Narcan. Like, thank God we had some. And he just woke up and was like, I'm like, bro, we're not giving you a ride anymore. Like, get out of here, you know? And I think his brother drove him home, but he had like boogers coming out of his nose, and, you know, he had like a goatee, but I knew I had to do it. I had to, like, cause it had worked the first 2 times.
I like the two details that make him gross are the boogers coming out of his nose and he has a goatee.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's funny because as I'm talking, I'm closing my eyes, imagining all this, you know, these weird situations. And his brother was next to him. I'm like, dude, can you get this with the Narcan? You have to twist it into place, and then you can squirt it up their nose.
Hmm.
And it's like a miracle thing. I don't know how I just happen to have some, but like gave it to his brother, and I look at him, and he's like 2 seconds away from like doing the same thing. And my girlfriend freaked out. She ran inside a McDonald's, got rid of she threw away all her stuff. I'm like, you know, I said to her, I go, the cops are only going to come if A, we call them. I just heard a gunshot. A, we call them. B, you freak the fuck out. I'm like, calm down. I got this. I think, you know, I was like, you know, your heart's racing. I was just, you know, but I didn't, because I learned from the first time, right before the ambulance got there, I got my girlfriend back to like I started breathing for her, and she came back. And I was like, you know, just like, whoa. And then all of a sudden, like, she was just snapped right into it. She was fine, or she seemed fine. But they're like, yeah, you're either going to the hospital. The cop said this. He goes, you're going to the hospital, you're coming with us. Like, you have to go, you know.
Wow.
And,
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. That's good. Maybe a good place to wrap this up, at least for the conversation. We'll head into the questions. But yeah, everyone should learn CPR and
if you're listening to this and you're on fentanyl, just learn to breathe for your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to end it on the like that stuff, but I like being honest about it.
Yeah, well, we'll get into the questions here. I'm looking for stuff that would be good for us. I think this one might be good. Do you guys have any recommendations on how to get a good night's sleep?
That's a weird one because I get out of work at 11. I have this theory that, you know, people like don't eat after 11 p.m.
Yeah.
I'll answer the question, but hold on. All right, but like, isn't that like, what if I guess your body does naturally digest around 3 to 4 a.m. or something, but like when I get out of work at 11, my energy is like, I have to like disassociate my brain from work and
right.
kind of like come down a bit. So I'm up till at least 2 a.m. is like the earliest I'll go to bed. And then I wake up at 10 and then I go back to work at 2. So it's kind of my schedule. But I have this theory that like, why can't you just adjust? If your sleep is 2 to 8, then why can't, like, I have to eat at 11, you know? So.
Well, yeah, you're talking about like the fasting, like intermittent fasting. Like, I think you can set it like your own window according to your schedule. I have heard from some people that it actually is important, the actual time, like your body does sort of work differently at different times of the day and stuff, and that it's good to be, you know, to do the appropriate thing at that right time and stuff. But I think if you're trying to do that fasting stuff, that it's okay just to, like, you know, pick a certain window that works for you.
Yeah, that's kind of what had me thinking about it, was listening to Joe Rogan's guest, who was like an intermittent faster. She was like some doctor or something that knew all about how your body you know, all that stuff. And I don't know, I try to apply
He has a lot of like goofy fitness people on there. I have no idea how much of that is reliable, but a lot of it does seem like they're trying to sell something, you know?
Yeah, it's like pseudoscience. No, but this one lady, I forget her name, but she's kind of cute, big bushy hair. But she's like, she was legit. The other, I know what you mean. There's those guys that go on, well, you see this diet. Well, one guy was talking about how just working out your body, like you shouldn't really overdo it. Like some people do it too much, you know?
Sure.
And he kind of broke that down. Like he really broke it down. But Yeah, it's all pseudoscience. That's why, like I said, I joke about Joe Rogan being like a nutritionist, and some guys really do like they listen to him just for that, like how to live their life.
Yeah, some people just want somebody to tell them what to do. You know.
I would suggest edibles. They get me pretty sleepy at nighttime, but it's a good experience before I fall asleep.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. Like a lot of people say weed helps them. I've never found that to be the case for me personally.
Yeah.
Honestly, I used to have a lot of problems sleeping when I was younger, and the only thing that ever worked, I tried all kinds of different stuff, and the only thing that ever worked for me was melatonin supplements.
Yeah, I've tried that. I always have had Benadryl, but then like there's some nights where I'm not trying to force myself to go to bed, so I haven't taken it in forever. And then there's other nights where if I'm going to take it, I feel like it's too late and I'll get groggy, or if I don't fall asleep. Dude, actually, it hasn't happened in a while, but yeah, there was some nights. It's funny that this person asked this question because I'm the worst person to ask. I need this question answered too. There are some nights where I'm literally, I don't fall asleep. It hasn't happened in a long time, but like, it's weird. It'll be like 5 a.m. and then I decide like, maybe I have my morning ritual where I take my I'm on gabapentin, which I guess for some people it makes it's weird because for me, once I have my coffee, it just helps me kind of feel like mood wise normal, and that's why I'm like you have to deal with customers all day, and like it almost like turns on my switch. Like I feel like it's because I've battled with I guess like anxiety / depression. I mean, who hasn't? But in the sense that, like, sometimes I do question, like, damn, was I ever, like, like, clinically depressed? Like, I think Ari Shafir went through that, and he kind of says, like, if he ever feels that feeling coming back, it freaks him out, so he starts doing things to, like, avoid going back down that, like, dark path. But it's weird, because when you're going through opiate withdrawal, you're feeling the worst of, like, and I think, but it does allow you to do a lot like thinking or just I learned patience, I think, from it, because I was never that drug addict to call a guy and like, come on, dude, please give me some. I'm too stubborn for that, but as far as sleep, like I said, it hasn't happened in a while, but there's some nights, and then I'll get up and I'll take my medication and have coffee, and then I'll fall asleep. It's almost like I'm waiting once it gets 4:35 a.m. It's almost like I'm waiting to have that ritual, and then I will kind of fall, But I would suggest it's better to sleep. Like if that happens, it's better to sleep for like 2 hours. Like sometimes if I'm up, I'll just set my alarm for like 12, like noon, and then so I have enough time to hop in the shower and go. I've already had coffee. Yeah, I need like a good amount of time in the morning. My stomach is kind of like weird in the morning.
When I was smoking, I used to wake up and not be good in my stomach. Like my stomach would be messed up, and then I wouldn't really be able to eat unless like I smoked, and then it would kind of settle my stomach. But I haven't smoked in like years now, and now I feel fine. I can wake up and eat. So
yeah, I do. That's funny because I was just thinking that this morning. I'm like, because I remember someone saying that like cigarettes, they do affect your stomach.
I'm talking about weed.
Oh, really? Weed?
Yeah, I smoked a little bit of cigarettes in college, but it was just I don't know. I don't like the feeling of being addicted to something. So as soon as I felt that, I was like, oh no, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah, I recently got a Juul pod, so I mean, but you know what? A pack of cigarette lasts me 3 days, like 2.5, 3 days. So yeah, and like I'm at work, I don't like no one there even knows that I smoke because I have my cigarettes with my coffee. I have one before I go in. I have one on my break, and then, like, I don't need one, There are times I've been in the hospital before for a week when I had MRSA, which is crazy. Like, once you my mother's an infection control nurse, so she kept coming in and being like, did you guys wipe down the machine after you left the room? I'm like, Mom, these are my nurses. Can you just chill out a little bit? But, because I didn't know what infection control nurse meant until I went to one of her. I think it was the first time I ever traveled with her. It was 2007. We went to San Jose, and I went to this like dinner thing. It was like dinner on a small table where she was like going through all this. It was like a kind of like a conference, except they were all eating, and then she joined us. But I was like, oh, it's like it's not like I got a wound, I got an infection on my arm. It's more like what does the hospital have to do to prevent infection?
Oh, okay, yeah.
especially shit like MRSA, which is resistant to, like, when I got out of the hospital, my teeth, I remember I felt like I was radiating. Like, my teeth felt like they almost looked like they were bleached. It was like weird. They jacked me up. And I don't even know how, I guess like it's either in your nose or sometimes it's dormant. And you, like, for me, it was just, I got an ingrown hair, and I had actually had something similar to this before. My blood was like sept, whatever. And I felt a little bit of like a fluish feeling. So if anyone else ever feels that you got a like, ingrown hair, a little bump near your dick, just, and you start getting feverish, go to the hospital.
Yeah, no shit.
But see, I wouldn't know. I didn't know at first. The first time.
Sure. With me for sleeping, one of the problems that I tended to have, like when I was more anxious and depressed, I guess I just, I didn't have a schedule whatsoever, really. I just I would kind of sleep for a few hours here and there, and just, I'd get my days screwed up a lot, where I'd be up at night and then just sleeping during the day.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until I started to get a bit better of a sleep schedule just how much that throws you off completely. Like everything about your day is just screwed up by just, because when you're up, you're just almost like delirious or something. You just can't really focus, and just totally screws you up. And I remember telling that to someone like a social worker or something, and they were just, totally, they were like, yeah, well, that's half your problem right there, kind of thing. They were saying almost, and with food, eating at all random times too, and then that kind of throws off your thing too. And I don't know. I still get to the point where sometimes I like have to stay up all night, like I just get insomnia or something. And then, I kind of have to really, really catch it quick and get back into a schedule, or else it just doesn't. I don't know. I think the main thing really is just, I didn't understand really for a long time the idea of like sleeping when you're not totally exhausted, like just, just collapsing kind of thing. Like it was one of those things where, I think it didn't make sense to me at all, because I just couldn't focus enough to kind of sleep. I just get like afraid almost of sleeping just from being anxious. And so I think that's it's one of those things where if you can get it under control and kind of it changes so much.
Like set an alarm for one, so even if you like mine's always going off at 10 a.m. and then 10:23 because I'm obsessed with 23 and 23rd episode. But like, even if I'm up till, if it hits 4 a.m., I just tell myself, all right, well, I guess 6 hours, as long as it's something. Like, my father, actually, it's funny that you said that, Donald. Like, my father worked with, he was a nurse as well, but he was like, had to basically keep like ill children alive overnight, or even adults. Like, his first patient, I remember when I was a little kid, and it was like a 16-year-old baby. Like, this kid had not grown. He just was a baby. But he was like 16. I remember when I was like 8 or 9. His name was Essie. He was a little like Hispanic boy. So I remember seeing pictures of him, but my father would basically have to monitor heart rate, and he always worked nights, and then he slept during the day. And like once, like later, I mean, even now, I don't sometimes, because I'm wondering if he's in one of those, I haven't slept. I mean, dude, like it's been getting to the point where he canceled on Christmas, Thanksgiving, but I think he builds himself up with so much anxiety over it that, like you said, then you become delirious. And then once you're up for more than a day, even, you're not thinking, you're just, there was one time where I tried giving him Elavil, I think it's called. That's it's like an ancient sleep medication.
Okay, yeah.
Elavil. Yeah, E-L-O-V. I gave him one, and he didn't go to sleep. He ended up in his car talking to someone. He called, and then thank God, he's always had a friend that was a town like cop or sergeant. And I think he called him, and it freaked him out so much that he came by, and he said my friend was sitting in the car, like thinking he had to go to work. And this is maybe like 2010-ish, when he had to get out, he had to finally move out of his hometown. And I think the VA ended up helping him out. But, they're like, it's just, for me, actually, especially right now where I'm trying to change my own shit, I can't get into his, like, I think I used to almost get into his anxiety too much, or his suffering too much. And I would almost like imitate it in a way.
Yeah.
And now that I've like, it's, sometimes I feel bad, like, oh, I should call my dad. Like, I don't, are you supposed to talk to your father once a month? But like, not really, not many people do. I guess you should more, but I'm not a big phone talker. And I think that's why at first I get hesitant about doing these things, because I'm not, like, yeah, I'll think about it too much. I think I don't have enough to say. So then I get into this mode. I'm like almost nervous talking, which you know what I mean? Which I go off into rants, and like, I'm sure you've noticed that this whole time. But it's almost it's weird. It's almost like I turn the anxiety into a.
Well, it's energy, Like I think anxiety kind of expresses itself as energy a lot of the time, and you can channel it into just like talking, like, which is fine.
Have you ever seen those commercials where it's for like manic depressives, where it's like, are you manic? And they're like doing all this stuff. And one guy, he's like he ends up building like a house, like it's called, House of Cards. And then it's like, and then like, do you go into these states and have like basically mania where you're doing all this shit, and then all of a sudden you get very depressed? And I'm like, but that just sounds like life. You're like, is that really a thing? I think it is, though. Like, people get very manic. Like, their moods are so up and down. Mine's not like that anymore. And I kind of like it, I like my mood to just be like a dead heartbeat line, like, or because I literally used to be up and down, or trying to maintain this. Like, when I was getting high when I was 18, I started OxyContin, and my mother moved back to my hometown, and she thought I was like this new person. I was cooking dinner, all the time, and just like talking, blah, blah, blah. Because when I was a teenager, I didn't talk to my family much. I was just smoking weed and hanging out with my friends. And, you go into that little stage of fucking puberty and testosterone, so you don't know what to do. Dude, I think that's actually a lot of men's problems, sometimes in America even. They just don't know how to handle testosterone raging through their body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's... I think you're right.
Yeah. Dude, it's not a drug. It's a chemical that literally is just, and you have to maintain it. I was thinking of some funny shit actually to talk about. Do you have any more questions?
I've got over 100 questions here we could get through. I don't think we're gonna.
You gotta do shout outs? Dude, it's been over an hour now.
Yeah, I think we got to start wrapping it up pretty soon. But yeah, go ahead and tell us your thing.
Oh, well, all right. I had this idea that I'm always trying to think of how 4,000 years ago, like, we're fucking advanced. People are like always like, how did they build this thing? We had shit. Like, we haven't been stupid for like almost whatever. But I was kind of joking with myself about how every human personality, like, we observe nature, because as I was walking under that pigeon bridge, there's like they've caged off half of it. Sometimes the pigeons will just be like dead, like melting through the grates. And then I was looking up, and all of a sudden I walked into a pigeon. It freaked me out. And then I look up again, I made sure the road was clear, and they're all just like staring at you. So I had this idea that, like, if some humans observe animals and just pick up those behavior, like, I would like to think that I'm like an owl or something, like a wise sage one.
Yeah, I can see that.
Some people are wolves. I don't know. I was just kind of fucking. It was after I smoked the joint. I'm always so enamored by I'll even watch that show Ancient Aliens, and I think that theory is for people who listen to ICP or think that like they're a rap group. But I do like that it shows like just stuff that not like no one's doing a documentary about the stone fucking thing that they found in China. You know what I mean? Like, there's some crazy stuff out there that you never really see unless it's on a show like that where they're trying to say it's an alien. It's really just like, no, that's a fucking human. Like, we are insane. Like, we're the stuff that we've done and why we've done it. It's pretty crazy. I think it's cool. Like, I like when my head is in that mode. You can't be in it all the time, but when I'm thinking, that's like what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Should we do one more question, or should we wrap it up here?
Do one more, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
I won't talk. You can answer.
Let's see.
Are these people that are in your chat and stuff?
These are anonymous, so these are all from Curious Cat. Although we also get questions on the Discord chat, but those tend to be more like really specific to like a certain topic because they kind of know what the episodes are coming up. So we tend to like get more specific ones there. Yeah, cater, exactly.
You can call this a journey into the mind. No, I don't know. I don't know if this was good or not.
I think it's been good.
I found it really interesting. I mean, it's hard. I've just been quiet because I've been listening, so it's just kind of it's been fun. So
I think some people will really like it, and some people will have turned it off within the first 10 minutes, and no harm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not. Some people don't have like I don't know, a certain vibe, or even like fucking a city vibe.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, things are different strokes for different folks, right?
Yep.
Okay. This isn't really a question, but this is a really funny comment that I think it would be good to share. So someone said, "Hi, Tom. I was just doing dishes while listening to the pod on my headphones when my wife came home and told me the way I was listening looked unusually retarded. I've listened to many podcasts over the years, but never one so powerful that even people not listening could tell how stupid it was by osmosis. Thank you."
That's awesome.
So I thought that was pretty
good. Yeah. So.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen. I didn't even listen to a podcast before I came on this because I knew I just signed up for the app, but I hadn't really explored it yet. But yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to a few. Do you guys edit these, or do you put them up live?
We do edit them, but it's usually just to like clean up some of the like pauses and ums and ahs and stuff like that. There's been a little bit of distortion on some of the voice channels lately, and we're trying to fix that up. But sometimes that comes through, and it's hard to edit that out.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I didn't even know you could do this, or record it in this way.
Yeah, this seems to be the best one that we have figured out so far. I think there are probably better options, but they involve a little bit more equipment. So this is good for now while we're still kind of working from the very beginning stages of things and everything.
Yeah. I love podcasts. That's all I listen to. I watch them on YouTube. That's pretty much.
If you have questions about how to like do it this way, I can help you out and even say like you could even do it through this server right here if you wanted to. Yeah,
this is like a gaming. It's like a gaming channel originally, but
it's like used for gaming. So like actually, when you're in here, like you can kind of see what games people are playing. Like it'll tell you. Hooks up to your Steam account and stuff. But and it lets you like chat like during the game, like if you're playing the same game with someone, you can like talk to them and everything. But you can also just do these voice chat things, and there's this bot that records it for you, and we just turn that into the podcast.
That's awesome. I think I'm gonna play some Assassin's Creed now that we just talked about gaming.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, Donald's been getting into Fallout 4, I guess.
Yeah, I just bought a PlayStation the other day, and I hadn't been gaming for like 10, 15 years or something like that, so it just blows me away, everything now. I just play it, and I don't know, everything is crazy to me. It's like magic.
Even like, I didn't realize I was watching a clip, some like gaming countdown show or something, and it was showing like I've played every Assassin's Creed. I'm playing Odyssey right now, but just the difference in the worlds and like just how, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just like run through the woods. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Just the scenery,
Yeah.
I used to do that with Skyrim. Like, just there's all these mods you can install on Skyrim, so you can really like totally change the game in so many different ways. Like, you really put together. It's almost like building up your own game. So I used to just do that and then just run around and see what the mods did, and I wouldn't really play the game. I would just do that and then like uninstall it and try something different.
Yeah. Well, in Fallout 4, I haven't been really playing the main storyline at all, really. I just kind of wander around and, find out where all the buildings are and kind of fight those little fights and stuff and just play around with it. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what those games are good for. Like, that's made by the same people as Skyrim. And
is that the same? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's even the same engine and everything, so.
Yeah.
In Assassin's Creed, you can go around and build up your point, like you have a point level or whatever, and then other mercenaries have certain levels. Like, I'm at a 40 right now, and I think the game adjusts to it, though. because in the beginning, like some places, like the highest was like 38. So if you go in there and you try to fuck with it, they're just gonna kill you. But so I would just I usually go around the game and I try to like I do more exploring in the beginning than I do actual like gameplay, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm like deep into this game. I guess it takes I don't even know. So I work with a guy that plays he's played the whole thing. But these games are just like forever. I didn't finish the Egyptian one. I just started playing this one. Fallout 4, is that the one that's like Las Vegas or something?
No, I think that's like Fallout New Vegas or something. This one's like I don't know. It's like it's the one before.
Isn't
it's
it
like
Boston,
it's one.
actually?
Yeah, it's Boston. Yeah, it's that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the one before. Like 76 is the new one, I guess, and then this one's the one before it, I think. So
76 is supposed to be bad, really bad.
I heard the main story's bad, but that you can actually just kind of, or like whatever the the story, whatever it is, but and playing with people is not that great, but just doing it is still, I don't know. Matt Brady said that like it's fun just because he's already played 4, so like he's actually getting something out of playing 76, I guess. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I might try it, but you have to have like the PlayStation Network and all that though too. Like you have to sign up for everything, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if
costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's one thing I don't do that online stuff. Like,
yeah,
even when Halo came out, I remember my friends. I would get mad because they would just all get around and play it. Sometimes they'd be like, "Steve, here, you try," and I'd be like, "No," I'd be high. And then I couldn't do the whole like, an Xbox I was always a PlayStation guy, and now obviously Xbox One, but I couldn't even move those controllers. Like it was just too much for me. Then obviously that kind of set off, the whole online playing, 1 versus 1 type shit. But I've never been into it that much.
No, I might get some sports games though. That's one thing I'm kind of missing from like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, like just playing NHL or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that used to be all I would play was either the new Madden or just play season mode with all the teams I liked.
Yeah,
something like that.
I used to be too good at Madden to play with my friends. Like they introduced me to it. I'm not even that big into like football or anything, but they were playing it. So we used to play Halo. We used to play all these different things, and so they were playing Madden. I'm like, okay, let's play this, and I kind of figured out how to play it, and then I just would destroy them every game. It got to the point where I said, okay, we'll count this as a win for you if I'm not ahead by halftime.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I can see that.
Well, it was just too easy to like throw these crazy long passes. So like you would just sort of, I don't know, I would just kind of watch out for anything risky where they would like get an interception and just avoid those. But besides that, it would just be like, okay, let me try and throw like a 70-yard pass or whatever,
Yeah. I used to do that to a buddy too. I would just like, I knew, I didn't realize, I played the 49ers once. And I was like, I got to watch out for Jerry Rice. I had no idea who T.O. was or anything. It was like right before I started watching football in like 2003 when I was like 17. Patriots were in the winning all those Super Bowls and, life was great. But, I would always try to just do that. I would realize that T.O. was always like destroying me. So I just started playing as the 49ers and I would do that fly play. This is like Madden 2001. And then, I would just bomb it down the field. But my buddy, obviously, he was good with like video games. He played Skyrim, so he would just pick up on what I was doing and usually would end up either tying. But yeah, that was fun shit.
I played. I got like a NBA 2K, like the new one, and I don't know. It just was crazy to me. It's like Nick Nurse and stuff from the Raptors, are just like the actual coach in the stands, and I don't know. They do the running commentary and stuff. That was completely new to me. The actual commentary on the game. I don't know.
Do they have Drake sitting in the stands?
No. Everyone asks that. No, they don't. No, I don't think so. Yeah,
probably costs too much.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think Drake is a pretty self-promotional. I think he would put himself in it, but if they let him. But yeah.
Doesn't he always just like pick the losing team or the losing fighter? Like, isn't there a Drake curse?
Well, I mean, yeah.
I've heard of that, but I mean, the Raptors did pretty well, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't even. I only watch football. And then even when football is on, like I like watching other teams, other cities. Like even when Philadelphia beat us, I was like, yeah, they deserve whatever. Or like when Peyton Manning did. Then I started thinking the NFL was rigged. Like, or it was Brady. Dude, no one realizes this. From 04, it was Brady, 5 Steelers with Roethlisberger, 06 Colts, then 07 Brady, 08 Roethlisberger, 09 Colts, and Peyton Manning. And then it just continued on. It was like 2010 was Steelers. It's only been those 3 teams for the past like 18 years, I think. Raiders and the Ravens are the only 2 teams.
I think all professional sports are rigged to some extent.
Oh,
okay.
The NBA is. I heard about Bill Burr talks about it.
I think there's too much money involved for it not to be. I don't have any specifics. I don't know exactly how it works. I don't know to what extent.
I guess that you can, like you can foul all the good players. Like Bill Burr was saying, he's like, you can almost tell when they're doing it. Like they can. I don't even know how basketball works, but one guy gets a foul, he has to sit out, and then he can get a technical, and so it doesn't rigged or whatever. But the guy who got caught doing it said, "Oh, I don't believe this." But he's like, the whole league, 100% is rigged. Which I doubt they can get it. But the refs, it's probably the easiest game to do that. Maybe soccer, football's too.
Baseball, man, you could with the balls and strikes, and there's so many close plays that just depend on a judgment call. I think that's probably the easiest one to rig. Much as I hate to admit it, that's my favorite sport.
Yeah, that's why the Blue Jays aren't not doing well this year. They've been cheated against, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to go to the game tomorrow, and I'll give that explanation if they lose. I don't know.
I think the owner's not paying up.
Yeah,
I remember. All right, one more thing. Like, do you guys remember when Boston was like Mayor? What was it, Menino? And him and Robert Kraft had this song. They're both I can't do the voice, but they both have the same voice. If you ever go back, it was Mayor Menino, and it's like the most typical Boston rah, type of voice.
I don't know who you're talking about. I have to look that up.
Sorry.
I think he was the mayor around the time that this is right. And Robert Kraft, how's that? That kind of
okay.
Robert Kraft and Mayor Menino had the same. It was just funny. Listen, seeing two of those idiots on TV, they kind of look like each other.
It's the same guy, man.
It really is.
All right, let's wrap this one up here. I think we've gone on. This is probably our longest episode to date, I think. So,
wow.
Good time to wrap it up here. So, thanks for listening, guys. If you made it this far, our Twitter @YouCan'tWinPod, and you can send in questions there. The Curious Cat link is pinned there. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Sometimes I think of all the places I don't want to go. Then I think of all things I never want to do. Think of all the people I never want to meet. I close my eyes and I go to sleep. Tony, baby, you're trapped behind your golden box. On the bridge of poverty, I hang around in bars. Your life's so Mercedes, I'm mansion with the pool. My life's on a bus stop, just waiting for some fuel.